that you've ever met, trying to learn all the social skills that we have at university. So it's definitely nice to be around all to the same path. So looking forward to connecting with many of you as you can throughout that past hour and definitely grab it today. We'll make a stop. So welcome and thanks you for joining myself and the rest of us in this session. So today we'll be looking at and discussing rather how to develop confidence, risk-taking, and trust with experience. And I'm going to be drawing about my experiences as a tutor, as a teacher, and as a community educator as well. Just a quick introduction. Who is Mandeep Singh? What's he doing here? What's the aim for the next half an hour? My apologies, I'm moving quite stagnant. We're only pouncing up and down and around there as well, but I'm trapped by the microphones today. So, my name is Mandeep Singh. I'm a qualified maths teacher who's been teaching maths at King Edwards in Birmingham, which is an independent boys' school that has 5 years. I left recently over the summer to start my own tutoring business after having tutored for 8 years, and also to look after a newly board rotary school 5 months ago. So, a bit of a hybrid between nappy changing and driving new clients, which is always interesting. I'm here today to share my expertise and also to learn from the wisdom in the room about what actually drives success within a classroom, but also in those one-to-one interactions we have, whether it's from our house, at your house, or whether it's on Zoom or Google Meet, or the 10 of other software applications that are emerging day by day. So what are we going to be looking into? And this picture summarizes what I'm about to discuss. Many of us have a piggy bank. Many of us might have slashed a piggy bank. I don't. And the phrase that I want to focus on today is something that I came across by the assistant head of the school I was training back in my name teacher year. And that was make sure there's always something in the bank. What we mean by that is we're dealing with students, they need to know that you have their best interests at heart. So going in, telling them all of the wrong things they've done without a positive relationship behind it, can be quite detrimental. And I remember my training year, which is about in itself, having fought a lot of resistance because students just weren't listening to me. And I remember my assistant, the assistant head of the school, telling me, Mandeep, make sure there's something in the back. We all rapport with that student so that when you need to discipline them, or when you need to give them some advice, or just by your conversation, they know that Mr. Singh will not be the past, has actually congratulated me on my efforts, and has spoken to my parents, and has told them how well I'm doing. So he doesn't just dislike me. He's actually trying to do the best for me. So if not anything else you take from this talk, please remember, make sure there's always something in the bag. I'm going to pause this for a second, or we're going to come back to it later on. So for today, I want to open up a discussion with you all and share why it's that I'm teaching and tutoring on the past 8 years, and share my success stories of things that haven't worked well. Please do get involved, otherwise you'll be blabbering off for half an hour so at once. If at any point you have a question or something to add, please just speak behind it, shout out, let's all get involved. So the research, I've researched these topics throughout my time with teaching and also training to be a teacher. And to summarize, I'm not going to go through the whole essay with you, because we haven't got time for that. But I was reading an article by the Rand Corporation, who are an American think tank, a non-profit, and they've done countless research into the effect teachers, I guess in our case, tutors, can have on the academic success of children. And to summarize it super quickly, with their findings, we find that among school two-related factors, teachers matter most, which is a given anyways, I guess, right? But to hear it quantified, it actually something quite empowering. I'm also open to get pressures. They mentioned that teachers are estimated to have 2 to 3 times the effect of any of the school practice. So we've got that power within our hands, and hopefully, learning from my experiences, we'll be able to optimize the power we have. So I want to open this up to you all on your experiences, on things you've read, or even on your experience as a student yourself. What do we think motivates success within a classroom? Yeah, this. Trust. Trust is definitely just Do you want to expand?
Especially a what situation. Still, I was still when it get all less what it will shoot up. Keep up establish that trust for access.
Yep.
Then basically.
Jumping.
So that's actually the outset. And not just in that session there start every session. They will remember stuff and achieving actions and slowly hours.
And building up the trust can't go.
All of that relationship.
100% agree. And I think I would break up into three strands of trust. One is an academic trust that this person knows what they're doing. I remember when I was in my physics A-level class, and all of us had lost faith in the teacher. She was a lovely person, but she had no idea what she was doing. So the class did, we got the our phones, and we're at home, and YouTube tried to pass the exam. So even though we trusted her as a person, if we trusted with any level, no. Which for whatever reason, she was still training, she was at the job where she should have been. Nothing against. The fact is they need to trust us academically. And that's down to our own research, our planning. Because we got all the files on we want, we can give them many stickers as we want. We don't deliver, students are clever. And students stick things up very quickly. And if they don't, the parents, we should obviously not break it. And not break generous. And then as you mentioned, trust generally, that the culture I create within this environment. If I make mistakes, it's over. I'm going to talk about my class actually that I left school with and what kind of culture we cultivate as well. Anyone else to add to that? What else generates or motivates success with an educator-student relationship?
Then you can this, I know.
From the educator's point of view, definitely, okay. Send the bar as high as other ways. Previously, the bar might have been quite low. They might have been told you can't do this, or this A-level isn't for you, or this university not for you. 20%. Yes, I'm right.
I would say a culture of competitiveness, although not all students will respond to this.
And I appreciate we can probably do that in a classroom. As a tutor, one-to-one, how any thoughts on how we foster that?
You hear that?
Competitiveness. I think I agree, and I think maybe it's for them to be competitive with themselves, to make sure that they're not being stagnant. Obviously, within a classroom, healthy competition is healthy. But then I've had experience in, the top independent boys school within the West Midlands last decade, and that competition can eat students alive. So I think it's a very difficult balance, and especially if your clientele are, especially central London, your Beaton, East London, the charter houses, those independent schools that generally expect a lot of high achievement, that competition needs to be delicately balanced. But definitely when balanced correctly, competition is great, an important thing that we want to use. Brilliant. So we'll continue the conversation on we go. My biggest thing for me that I feel motivates success is success within self. Now I feel when a student is successful, that in itself makes them motivated. And how many of us have never much to start you still? Because you're not stupid, we might have gone, we might embarrass ourselves, forget that. I'm not starting the yoga class, or I'm not starting the jiu-jitsu class, or whatever it might be, or even something there. But how many of us, when we start a new skill, no, I'm not actually do this. I'm going to work wisely. It's because we've tasted success. And it's within reach. So it's not a theory. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. As long as having money in the bank, is how do we create little snippets of success for students so unachievable becomes achievable. And I found this really nice infographic that sums up what I'm trying to say. For me, as an educator, we need to identify where the doable effort is. And that comes as you mentioned, trusting the student, finding out their needs. What is it that you're struggling with in the GCSE, or why is it that you're not getting on with your teacher? Okay, now I know where they're at. Then we need to plan very specifically for their success. So to put that into your, sorry, you're going to have lots of maths now. I've had the talkers on mathematician. In terms of a maths point of view, they might be struggling on trigonometry because the teacher whizzed through it at 100 miles an hour and said, go away and watch a YouTube video about it. So I know that maybe there's some pre-learning about trigonometry. I need to give a super simple example or a question they can access around trigonometry to get rid of that bad stigma that it's the topic I'm not dealing with because I can't do it. Once they've got one question correct, or once I've guided them through a bit of success, we ramp it up. And slowly but surely, obviously this will be relative to all the dual professions and what you teach. But the point being is, we as educators need to carefully plan how we can make that student succeed, and I would even argue, tricking them into succeeding as hard. Once they've found that success and they've tasted it, they know that, oh, actually, I can do this. I stand with my own practice. Then you don't need to budget them for the homework because they got a steel ball and they've found out that they have the capability, so they'll do it themselves. And they'll ask the questions, and when you throw the harder question at them, they'll have a go. Obviously, I'm saying here the higher rewards. But try it, and I'll talk about how I find it wind up happening as it. How does that sound so far? Does anyone have any questions? Anything people want to jump through? That the small snippets of success, that's what they're aiming for. First experience. I would up to this absolute legend, Craig Barton, who's, for anyone that's a maths teacher, you have to read his book. It is the Bible of maths teaching. And I'm so glad I came across it. And I wish in the book thought is my twin Yorkshire theory, which I live and breathe by. Not just a during actually life as well, with a few things. So his idea, and he talks about the pain that he went through in his first years of teaching, where he would give heaps of information, perfectly given PowerPoints, worksheets to accompany, and then no one would have a field for that. And he mentioned that one of the tricks that worked really well for him is he do a simple work example. Once that work example is done, you stop and then give them a your turn. And that your turn, the question the students are doing is very, very similar, if not identical, with change numbers. It might seem quite routine, it might seem quite basic, it might seem pointless. But what happens in that interaction is that the students grasp on and start to bridge towards the harder questions. Once they've got that one correct, we go into another one, and I might make the denominator of the fraction slightly more ordered, and then they're going to have a go. Second hit of success. Okay, we can do this. Third one, this makes it a bit more interesting than seeing a variable. Now you guys have a go. And in essence, you're scaffolding them every step of the way. And what I found happens, as I started teaching, we get very comfortable. 2-3 years in our paper resources, the students should know by now. Here's the example, I'm going to step my desk into my use. That's quite dangerous place to be. Because the things that we were so passionate about at the beginning of my careers have now slowly dissipate because so much else is going on, which is natural. But I feel a refresher or a burst of energy is always important, keeping that at close. So I'll give you another example of a worksheet I created. Unfortunately, it wasn't the name of the PowerPoint, so my apologies. And for any of you mathematicians, there's a topic called factorizing quadratics, which can look like an absolute bombshell. And to summarize it, there's maybe 7 or 8 steps for mathematicians I'm talking about when the coefficient is straight on. And to give that to a student looks terrifying. So one of the examples I did, I thought, how can I give students success in little drips and drops so that by the end of this lesson, or maybe the next lesson, they can go away and do this problem themselves. And with the help of my mentor at the time, I created a worksheet. On the worksheet, I went through the whole example and I did the solution for the first question, but I guessed out the last line. I said, right, words fit in the last line. No, right, this is easy, then last. Second example, I took away the last 2 lines. Well, obviously things do all the work for us. This is the reason, the last 2 lines. Third example, last 3 lines are gone. And without actually realizing they're actually sat to the problem themselves. By an 8th example, I stripped everything away as the right factorizers. And because I kind of tricked them into successfully doing the little bits, they were able to bring all those small bits into a big problem. Whereas quite often, and as educators, we feel either the example, so on the board, is the problem, crap fault. Obviously, the higher rates of students will have no problem with that. But hopefully that was a great example to illustrate to you how this can actually work, and hopefully you can adapt it to your own subjects and topics as well. So a case study of me. So this was my final fasting school, and they asked this section me to flag taxes. So this is me, then being to the back in the Egypt. We got it didn't work out. And this is set 7 out of set 8. And it's quite interesting for the first 2 years between it was at top sets. So the ability of the students were very different. Oxbridge, mathematicians, people that are going on to Harvard and MIT, all the rest of it. The last 2 years, I had a set 6 and a set 7. So I did approach things very differently. And this is when I really started thinking about how do we motivate students to be successful. And as you mentioned, make them realize you can actually do it, even if your brain's telling you you can't. So within this set, I took these boys on in year 10. A lot of them had SDN needs, a lot of them had learning difficulties and processing difficulties. And for the past 3 years, in all honesty, they're not teachers. I had just treated them as a set 7. And they responded as set 7. And they came in at a set 7 as well. The first thing I said to them is, boys, we are going to shock everyone. And you're going to shock everyone. Never what? So just thinking about set 7 does not be your ability set 7. Your ability is whatever you want to be. And then they can almost say, he's had too much coffee this morning. We've read this all. But it worked. And the way I went about it was I created a mantra within fast of having faith. That's how it is mantra. But generally within themselves. I've already up to hear it ever. If a boy put his hand up, he was a bit sure the other boys would be like, Andy, have faith in yourself. It's quite nice. Because all we were shouting on was up. And when they put their hands up, they said, I'm not sure about this. So I have faith. You get it wrong, no problem. Well, from it, they get locked out, it's actually better than getting it right. And not just, you get it right, you haven't been saying it. And it's about normalizing it. The other thing that I would do is that if I had faith in myself, I quite often, I do things that are posterity teachers. I do examples for solutions that I haven't seen. And I get things wrong and learn from them. Well, sir, you missed the next. Well, so long, he was just like, see, I've got a master degree, but I'll still make a mistake. Of course, I'm expecting you to make a mistake as well. And I think showing that vulnerability to students is key. And I used to go off the globe to students. They used to tell me to go down all the at school. And there would always be certain teachers that would not admit their mistakes. And the tension and distrust it created when, right at the beginning, the teacher said, oh, sorry, I sent you the wrong homework. Well, sorry, I did this without the wrong. Well, sorry, I gave you the wrong worksheet. Causes so much bad blood that isn't needed. So I would say get used to being wrong and being zero as well. And with these boys, I bet you over the next 2 years, set up little bits of wins, small wins, that gradually grew their confidence, their mathematical confidence, but also as students as well. And I guess cultivating that mindset within the class, one of the examples I mentioned to you a minute ago about the quadratic worksheet. And again, overcoming their fear of getting it wrong. I'm sure many of you have been in a situation where you've got a student who would rather just bury their head in the sand compared to the embarrassment of being something ripped. Now, this could be external factors, this could be the competition within schools, or it could even be the teacher creating such a fear about getting something wrong. And I think especially in a one-to-one situation, it's so important that we allow students to get things wrong. And our wording is super important as well. So I try to avoid quite blatantly kind of students that wrong. If sounding you got something wrong, but sounding you not quite on the right direction, this out of it. So there's small things, subconscious things we can all do. There's a lot of research and reading to be done about the language we can use as tutors, as educators, and it's definitely worth the money. By the end of it, so in the summer, I went back to meet these guys at school, and I appreciate there's only 10 boys in the fifth picture, one who was us. And for set 7, 6 of them got a set grade A out of 9. 2 of them got grade 7, and 3 of them got grade 6. And the parents, I remember seeing the parents sort of, what magic have we done? And again, I don't say that I'm an amazing thing, I'm just passing on and using the wisdom that I learned, and hopefully you can find use for this stuff. My point being is they beat the majority of students in set 3. and they love throwing wedges. So hopefully, if anything else, but there's tons of evidence online and people have done research, but there's some evidence from last year, the past 2 years, that it can be done. But it takes consistency, it takes careful planning, a lot of small wins, and a lot of putting in the best soul. Yes.
Don't get the just before you move on from overcome the fear of starting.
Yeah.
I would certainly emphasize that fear of starting, even for really kids.
Sure.
Who doesn't know more than the ones in set 7.
Yeah.
Fear of starting is still there. Not only because the young class they don't want to show themselves, but also in one-to-one, they often, students do not know how to start an answer. I'm not talking about that necessarily, but in subjects where there's a lot in the text.
Yeah.
Writing to do. I mean, I tutor sciences, but often, particularly if we're looking at past papers, they're confident in knowing how to start an answer with what is holding back. So I put a lot of time and effort into starting that, and working with the how do I start to phrase, to word, arts, and that I think those a lot of kids get over to that initial sort of
100% echo what you said. Yeah, and I mean, the one added to that, even for the most able students, I feel when they don't know how to do straight away, then they have a big fear of starting, because in the past, they'd normally know what to do straight away. So there's different fears, and they resonate in different ways. Yeah, thank you. Definitely not just for students that are in lower sets, or maybe struggling with the topic, becoming sport students. And I think that's something I've been very particular about, is teaching and also training students how to ask a question. We're giving them the confidence level. Yeah, thanks definitely for prior repetitions. So just very quickly, the power of feedback, and now going back to place something in that piggyback. I started that feedback can transform your relationship with a student. And again, I was saying for myself, through other teachers that I've trained, it's something that we're quite hot on. I was very hot on as I started, and I had a lot of charisma. I had the time against as well. But as time develops, as time progresses, we kind of forget about it, and we see students who start off. Regular feedback is so powerful, and in particular, it's echoed to parents as well. And there are official ways of doing this, and on this, there's just a few. But having a preset email that can send and BCT to 20 parents is better than nothing. Having these little pieces of magic are amazing. And I found in the independent sector, it's just much less. I trained at a grammar school, and this was standard for everyone. When I left the independent sector, I asked the master, how do you all give feedback that our parents see me? So an outhelpable piece. And when the parents received these, I got an email from a few parents. And just to give you an insight, every Friday when I had their time lunchtime, I spent half an hour trying to dictate which students have just done something good, which students have shown some sort of success throughout the week. They're getting one of these. Well, they're getting emails out. Now the boys are giving it now. And what I found is so many parents email me back saying, my heart dropped about the email, because we're so used to emails from the school being late homework, detention. And it kind of worked in my favor. I sent the email to them. Now they were overjoyed. And now, what's happened at home over the dinner table, we got an amazing email from Mr. Singh that student X is thinking, wow, Singh actually appreciated, like he actually was attentive to the fact that my had today. Was attentive that I tried something new and I must have been wrong with Mr. Singh. Told my mum that I got something wrong and I learned from it. Which is always dangerous. And that creates such a beautiful circle that creates a lot of motivation from my previous experience to more thing for students. So it is quite a burden. It does take time. We are very, very busy. What I found is if the feedback's good and it's regular, in the long term, it will save you a shed load of time. Because there'll be less resistance, there'll be less behavioural problems. Parents will trust you, so you won't get the nagging parent as well. So over the course of an academic year, you will buy so much time back by getting that feedback. As a tutor, be specific kind of from love or a specific reason. 2 years ago when I got married and we were on our honeymoon to New York, and my wife walks into the VHS and picks up a book called The 50 Rules of Love. And I think, oh my God, the last thing we need. I always used to think those books are for other people that need Aristotle or whatever. It was one of the best things I've ever heard. The reason was because it says when you're complimenting your partner, be specific. Don't just say, oh, I appreciate what we did today. Oh, thanks for being so supportive. Tell your wives, tell your husband, tell your significant other why they had an impact on me. I took this to the classroom, obviously not with facts, but with the students. And I would say, oh, well done today, Tom. Tom, come here. I appreciate you put behind us today when involved in this quite overwhelming, but that was really great to see how helping you come teach up. We, as humans, want to know what we're doing right. So be very specific in your feedback when your partner has a desire to swim. For tutoring, one thing that I recommend is a quick WhatsApp voice note, 30 seconds to a minute. If you leave it for a whole bunch of admin at the end of the week, you're not going to do it. If you want to watch Curry or whatever else on the college, if you do it as you go, promise you you'll get into a habit, it'll become second nature, and it won't be very taxing. And voice note messages for me, all for that literature. All of these things will continue to put money in the bank. So when it comes to the student not having done that past AP7, when it comes to that student, maybe you say on their phone, you have the authority and you have the trust to say, look, yeah, you can't. But while this has to with them, I expect better from me. Then it's not all, my tutor doesn't like me. It's all, actually, you know what? My tutor knows what I'm about. I better step myself for. So this is a summary. Teachers have a massive impact. Okay. Don't underestimate his small wins, whether that's a club spot, whether that's bringing Tom to the side and be specific about the thing that you want to compliment him on, whether that's 30-second voice note on WhatsApp. Keep parents involved because they will become your cheerleaders. And for business, it's amazing. The best advertisement for tutoring is word. From my students. And if parents appreciate you as a tutor and see the difference you're making in their child's life, academically, they will brag about you forever. And they'll show you offers are to go something. And again, as I mentioned, build their success in manageable channels. Trick them into their success and trick them into realizing that they can't actually so. Thank you so much for being part of this discussion. I'm very honored to have had the platform to share my thoughts with you, my experiences. Just as mentioned, I've recently started tutoring business for this fun tutoring. We'd love any support, all of us. Check us out on LinkedIn. And if there are any tutors here that are interested in tutoring with us, we are looking for amazing tutors all the time. So please come over, have a chat. And I'd love to continue the conversation with you. So if you see me walking around awkwardly in 5 minutes, please come over and have a chat. It'd be great to continue the conversation. I look forward to networking with you all there on. You know, I references it. If anyone left the site, I do want to say thank you. Thank you.